Okay, everyone. So we've decided to do a Daemon tarot card session with Michael. We're not doing for divination. We're not doing any of that. We just want to learn the demons. Michael's got a real obsession with just touching the cards to begin with. So you going ahead, fill up the cards, pick 4, and then we'll learn what the demons are.
They're very hard.
They're very stiff cards.
I like that.
No comment. But if you have a comment, drop it in the section below.
Please, that's what we want. We want this. We want people to
More
comment.
interaction.
More. Okay. Let me see.
The art on the back is the only art that your man didn't sign. It'll be, what was his name? Lewis Britton. Oh, number 1. Card 2.
How many cards am I picking?
2 more. We're just picking 4 for these for now. Each demon has its own personality trait, but we'll not delve too far into that just yet. Four cards. Remove the stiff ones. Okay, I had this one the other day. Forgive my horrible pronunciation as usual. Amdeshias. I'm not quite sure on the pronunciation. That's. I have this chap. Grand Duke Amdeshias. Drop a phonetic spelling for this below if you know it, please. That would be much appreciated. Rules over 29 legions of demons in hell. Demonologists claim that when summoned, he can appear as a human, but with claws on his hands and feet to show he is not quite human, but that his true form is that of a unicorn. Unfortunately, many creatures, including the rhinoceros, are referred to as unicorns for having a single horn instead of 2. So we cannot know if his form is that of the classic horse with a single horn, or some other single-horned beast. His gift is the ability to create beautiful music. Demonologists claim that, if asked to perform a concert, Amdeshias will suddenly be surrounded by the sounds of hundreds of invisible instruments, horns, flutes, and stringed instruments, and the sound builds until the trees sway and bend as if dancing. At first, it seems as if he has a very simple gift. Invisible instruments and dancing trees. But when we think, for a moment, about the poetic nature of many of the early demonologists, it is possible that he may control something that is more beautiful. The wind. The swaying, dancing trees are a hint to his potential power. What other invisible force causes the forest to bend? Anyone who has walked on a blustery day, while the trees whisper and the power lines hum, can easily imagine where, if Amdeshias does control the winds, the invisible instruments come from. So, focus on musical endeavours, including composing and musical inspiration. That's what this man's all about, this chap here. I do like the artwork in the back as well, has to be said. We got one of the granddaddies next. We'll walk. That's what all our government and elite go to the forest in California to worship the big stone owl. Moloch. Also, Molech was once a god of the Ammonites. That's biblical people there. Like many gods, Moloch requires sacrifices, but those allegedly demanded by Moloch were exceptionally dear. Colin de Plancy describes a giant bronze statue of the god Moloch, shaped like a man with the head of a cow wearing a horn. Inside the statue were 7 cabinets that needed to be filled with 7 sacrifices to Moloch. Grain, birds, a ewe, a ram, a calf, a cow, and a human child. Once all of the sacrifices were in place, a fire was built under the statue, and the sounds of drums drowning the cries of the sacrifices. Any one, or perhaps 2 of these sacrifices would satisfy many other gods of the time, but Moloch demanded all of them. Please Google search Bohemian Grove, please. A couple of centuries after Moloch's descent from powerful and feared god to relatively obscure Daemon, a tyrant of ancient Greece named... ancient Greek is my stumbling block. Phalaris commissioned an instrument for executing criminals. The device, which would come to be called the Brazen Bull, was a bronze container built in the shape of a bull, into which criminals would be placed and fire set underneath. There is no evidence that Phalaris was aware of the ancient statue of Moloch, but the similarities between the terrible device are clear. Moloch eventually lost his position of powerful god and was demoted to a daemon. And Phalaris was eventually executed using his own brazen bull. Perhaps both would have been befitted from a reign less marked by sacrifice and torture. So beware of stern punishments and unyielding strictness with Moloch. Bohemian Grove. Next card, Jan Gant Watan. Gant Watan. Again, I'm butchering all these names, so please forgive me.
Creepy picture.
Very creepy. Got a Slender Man going on there.
Slender Man. That's someone Slender Man.
It's someone a totally fictional character made on the internet.
Oh, never know.
Yeah, you never know. Right, finding this chart is pretty T-U-W-H-Y. It's familiar myself, okay. Jan Gant Yitan is described by Colin Duplessis as a demon who wanders the countryside of Brittany at night, with 5 candles that lights the tips of his fingers. According to Breton mythology, Jan Grant Yitan, John, with a fire, uses his candles for much of the same purpose as the will-o'-the-wisp of English folklore, to sometimes lure travellers from a path and into dangerous geography, but also to sometimes light the way for a traveller who is lost. As with the will-o'-the-wisp, whether seeing Jan Gant Yitan's lights is a good omen or ill depends on the local legend, or perhaps Jan Gant Yitan's mood. There are tales of travellers who narrowly escaped falling into danger after following the flickering lights into the woods. But there are also tales of travellers who, after losing the last of their own light, were approached by him and offered one of his candles to carry for the remainder of their journey. As with many of the daemons in this book, the perception of Jan Gant Yitan's gifts as a tool for good or ill can shift and change depending on the context. Perhaps it would be safest to say that, if you are already on the right path, little good can come of running off it. But if you are lost, any light in the darkness may be of some help. Well, this card, focus on finding your way when off the beaten path, but beware of being led astray by distractions. Cool, have Goatman.
Mm-hmm.
Card number 4. Leches, I think. Leches. Sounds like an out-of-date cheese. Leches.
I like cheese.
I love cheese.
I love Polish cheese.
Leches or forest demons of Slavic origin. Similar, you're speaking about Polish just there,
Mm-hmm.
Similar in appearance to Pan, with a human body from the waist up and the lower body of a goat. The Leches have control over their physical appearance and are able to shrink themselves to hide beneath the grass when forced to travel across open fields. but in their natural forest environment, they can grow to be as tall as the surrounding trees. According to mythology, their voices are naturally very harsh and animal, but they are capable of imitating human voices. Colin de Plancy notes that the leches use their gift of imitation to lure travellers off the beaten path and deep into the forests, where they would then tickle the travellers nearly to death. Yes, it said that, yeah. Sometimes I'm reading this and thinking, am I reading this right or making this up? Where they would then tickle the travellers nearly to death. This is not really the most terrible of threats, but there you have it. The leches are protectors of the forests and strongly believe that humans should not intrude into their natural spaces, but they are not terribly violent in their methods of punishing offenders. Nevertheless, one wonders if they might not have better luck trying to discuss their reasoning instead of attacking humans, no matter that their method of attack is more annoying than dangerous. Beware of taking personal campaigns to extremes, alienating potential allies by forcing strong views on others in destructive ways.
Yeah, that sounds a bit like me.
That's
At work.
You are fucking lechy.
Thank you.
That's your new name, lechy.
Lechy.
Okay, so we're not really doing anything with this, we're just learning as we go. Very interesting pickup today. I myself have had Amdashias. I think that's how you pronounce that, or it's close to it. I've heard of Moloch before.
Oh yeah, Moloch.
I've heard of leches before, but not as much. I've never heard of Yan Gitan.
He'd be useful for tomorrow curls.
I will be with lights.
Yes, we could summon him.
Summon him. Yeah, I think we're ready. Anyway, guys, if you have any comments, drop them below.
Please.
Like, share, and subscribe. Goodbye.
Bye.